Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 17, The Girl with the Diamond Earrings. The diamonds. This is such a big, huge episode. I just need to get right to it, and I'm probably not going to do questions at the end of this one because we already have enough to talk about with episode 17. If you haven't seen it yet, strap yourself in and grab yourself something to drink, maybe a snack, and here we go. This was not a to be continued, which kind of surprises me because we ended, at Kyle's house in Aspen, where Sutton said nobody defended me when Erica called me a see you next Tuesday. And Diana said, that's because you are one. All kinds of witchy laughter and cackling. And then Diana had to leave to get to her hotel. I guess everybody just kind of dispersed at that time, because we are starting this episode the next morning. It's 9:57 a.m. Kathy Hilton is sound asleep in her bottom bunk. Rinna's making coffee. Kyle's just waking up. Side note, for some reason, Bravo shows us a real close-up of the Keurig machine. And just to the left of it are boxes of Celestial Seasonings tea. And I had to point this out because the tea in one of those boxes is called Tension Tamer. Well, apparently that wasn't served last night. Kyle's sister Rinna that she still can't get over the shoes Kathy came in. She said she actually sent a picture of them to Nikki in Paris and said, these are the shoes your mom showed up in. Side note, in what world are you calling those shoes? They're like thin little house slippers, like something you would get at a spa. They're just flat little terry cloth. I don't know. Kyle keeps calling them shoes. I bet they were great in the snow. Bravo, of course, indulges us by giving a close-up of those slippers, but I'm more interested in the board games that are next to the slippers. Talk to me about the game Merry Dismiss. It looks like it might be fun. Thank God they weren't playing that last night. There was enough dissing going on. Well, maybe they were playing it. What do I know? And now Rinna is rolling her face with Kyle's face roller. Rinna goes, is this Sutton's or yours? I love a face roller. Do you? Because, well, two things. One, it's Kyle's, but it looks exactly like Sutton's. And you know how Kyle can't let somebody else have something that she doesn't also have. And secondly, Sutton was teased last year for rolling her face because she, had a lot of tension and everything. Now, apparently, everybody's rolling their face. So Rinna says that Diana was out of control last night, which I'm surprised she is taking that stance. One of you mentioned in the comments last week when Diana said, because you are one, and Erica and she just fell into a fit of laughter. One of you guys pointed out that Rinna was not laughing. And you're right, she wasn't. I was almost going to mention that, except something stopped me. At first, I was going to say I was impressed by that, but she did put her head down and back up again. And I didn't mention it because for some reason, I almost got the feeling that she was like trying not to laugh. She wasn't like Cherie. Come on, Cherie. I like you. This is the second time now you're laughing with the cool kids at Sutton's expense, and I don't like that. Especially because I thought you were going to be a Sutton ally. Anyway, it is true. Lisa didn't laugh at that. So credit where credit's due, I guess. Here's what I don't give her credit for. She says, Diana was out of control last night. But when you're in pain, you're hurt, sometimes it comes out as rage. Just solely directed at Sutton? Is that how it sometimes comes out? Because it's interesting how you're also doing the same thing. Kyle's like, yeah, after last night, thank God Diana wasn't staying at that house with them. So now Erica wakes up. She comes in the kitchen to join them. Kyle asks if she heard Kathy stirring at all, and she has not. What about Teddy and Eliana? They can't still be sleeping, right? She's only a year old. She's not going to sleep in. Anyway, so Erica announces that she's not going to go skiing because I already had 3 surgeries on my knees. I don't need a 4th. I don't know what that's all about. So she is going to go snowmobiling. And Kyle said, oh, okay. So yeah, we were just talking about, obviously the obvious. And I was thinking, like, when I talk to Sutton one-on-one, I get her humor. Like, she shares a lot with me. And then when we're in a group, I find myself thinking, I can't figure her out. So call her out in front of the group. Instead of when you're in private with your one-on-ones, when she's opening up to you, how about then say, do you feel like some social anxiety when you're in a big group? Or, because that happens with a lot of people. I'm much better one-on-one than in a whole group. Erica, you're right. One-on-one, there are great moments. And then she does a 180, Rinna. It's very high school. It is. I remember that from high school. Kyle, classic Mean Girl stuff. Oh, thank you. Finally, you guys are admitting that you're mean girls. Oh, wait, what? They're talking about Sutton? You're kidding. Sutton, the woman who 12 hours ago sat in a room full of friends, was called the C word by one grown woman, while another grown woman laughed like a cartoon hyena. And she's the mean girl? It's Sutton's sense of humor that you don't understand? Okay. Meanwhile, in the van, we have Cherie, Sutton, and Garcelle. And Sutton is telling them, I had a good night's sleep last night. And I'm not here to cry or to fight with anybody. I'm just here to enjoy the snow and to learn new things like snowmobiling and just have new challenges like picking up Erica because she's coming with us. And Garcelle's like, yeah, that's a challenge for us both. So yeah, it is those three and Erica that are choosing the snowmobiling activity. All right, now back at Kyle's, the Chiron tells us that it's 11:54 a.m. and Kyle and Erica are all in their snowsuits and goggles on their heads and they're ready to go. But Kyle wants to check on Kathy first. Kathy is still sawing logs. She is out like a light. Maybe that bunk bed is the most comfortable bed in the house. Or maybe it's just Kathy catching up on some sleep because she did go on quite a bender. 4 days with 3 hours of sleep for an unexplained reason. I still want to know. So Kyle's like, Kathy, we're going skiing. Kathy wakes up. Kyle, there's not an inch of space for me in the closet. Where am I supposed to put my things? Was she dreaming about that? It's like the first thing out of her mouth. So Kyle makes some room in the closet for her. And then she tells her that at midnight last night, Dorit left the outsider's house and went to the hotel with Diana. In Kyle's confessional, she's like, if I was at a house that was triggering my anxiety, I would move too. So we get a little flashback to Dorit telling Kyle, I had no choice, Kyle. I felt so uncomfortable. And so Diana texted me and she said, I have an extra room here. How did Diana know to text you at midnight and say that she has an extra room? Like, how did she know that you were feeling uncomfortable? Since something's a little out of order with that story. So now Dorit says that apparently Diana said it's in a very safe building. A hotel where strangers are coming in and out of the lobby and, strangers are in the rooms all around you on different floors. That's safer than a private home that you could actually put the deadbolt on the door. Okay. Oh, maybe Diana is making two of her assistants stand guard. It's possible. Anyway, Kyle tells her that they're going skiing, and I guess Kathy's not going anywhere. I don't know what she's doing, but staying at the house, sleeping, hanging out with Teddy. I don't know what she's doing, but Kyle's like, look, I'm leaving Smokey out, so if you leave the house, do not let Smokey get out. And she's pretty adamant about it, which makes me think that Kathy's definitely going to let Smokey out, but that never comes up again, so maybe Kathy just never left. But doesn't Smokey have to go to the bathroom? Oh, Teddy will take care of it. Okay, now Crystal and Dorit show up at Kyle's house because they're also skiing. But how did they end up coming together? And where's Diana? I thought Dorit was staying with Diana. I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, Dorit has a Fendi snowsuit and helmet, matching helmet, It's actually kind of cool, that helmet. It looks like Dorit, Crystal, Kyle, Rinna, and maybe Diana are all skiing. So they say goodbye to Erica, who's waiting for, the snowmobile ladies to come and pick her up. And they're like, have fun. Rinna goes, text me if you need me. Yeah, because poor Erica is spending the day with the mean girls. Sutton is saying that she's just going to have fun spending the day with her friend and her non-friend or something like that. And Cherie wants her, don't think of her as a non-friend. Just don't think about her. Just have fun. Meanwhile, in the van with all the skiers, Dorit is nervous because she's the only one who hasn't skied in over 20 years. All the other ladies are pretty good skiers. And then when they get to town, Kyle has to, they stop so Kyle can run out and she's got to pick up her skis. I don't know where her skis were, but she has to just jump out and pick up her skis. And that's where they meet up with Diana, who's in her Oscar the Grouch jacket. If she stood in a trash can, that would be a perfect Halloween costume. Kyle walks up. Oh my God, that's so green. Thank you. I mean, why would you say that? Either you like it or you don't, but don't say, wow, that's green. That's a lot of green. I mean, I can say it, but I'm not standing there right with her. I wouldn't say it to her face. I wouldn't tell her if you stood in a trash can, that would be a perfect Halloween costume, not to her face. Hey, side note, did you hear that Diana is suing? Like she's suing some YouTubers. Well, that Dana Wilkie, she was a housewife, but she's got like a podcast now, or she's got a YouTube channel. And Sherelle's World, you guys have heard of her. She's got a huge channel. She talks about, I don't know if it's just housewives for her, or if she talks about all kinds of TV or reality TV. I'm not sure, but she gave cease and desist letters to both of them. She's not suing them. They were given cease and desist letters. And to a couple of other, like, I think publications or something. Yeah. I can't remember what it's about. Oh, I think it's about her being a madam in like the sex trafficking thing. Yeah. So I never said that. Also, side note, you guys, that mean letter, I think it's adorable that so many of you are convinced it was a housewife that wrote that. It would not have been. Housewives don't even know who I am now. There are bloggers that talk about housewives that have 500,000 or, 1.2 million subscribers. I mean, those might get a housewife's attention, not me. And this comment came to me in 2019. So for sure back then, I probably had 5,000 subscribers. I don't know. I think it's cute that you think that housewives are watching me. They're not. So it is not a housewife. The other thing is a lot of you guys thought it was somebody that knew me because there was so much rage in them that it couldn't just be somebody who didn't like my channel. I agree. That makes sense. However, the person that sent this, I could see their name and also the picture by their name, whatever you call that. It was an actual picture of a couple, a man and a woman. I'm assuming it was the woman that wrote it only because, my statistics show that 85% of my viewers are female. So just logically, I think it would have been her, not him. Also, they look like they're together as a couple. So it isn't, some bitter, lonely person. They look happy and they're attractive people. So there's no I don't know. My point is, I don't know who that is. Unless they're totally disguising themselves with the name and picture, I can tell you that name and those people are strangers to me. Anyway, moving on. Diana and Kyle get back in the van. Kyle's got her skis and they head to the mountain. But before they do, Kyle would like to gossip a little more. She keeps trying to turn the conversation around to last night because the ladies are talking about other things. Even Rinna said, I think we're all on the other side of where we were, which I don't know what that means. I don't think she means it like we've changed our opinion. I think she just means like that was last night, we're over it. Kyle's not. Kyle says, well, are you ready for this? Erica and Sutton both chose snowmobiling. And everybody starts laughing. everybody knew, right? Erica's not in the car. Don't you think that was kind of established last night? Who was snowmobiling and who was skiing? Kyle's acting like she's just telling them something right now. Yeah, remind me again, the mean girls are in the other van? We cut to the other van. It's dead silent. Nobody is saying a word. So they get to the place where they're going to snowmobile, and there's an instructor there who's like fitting them with helmets and stuff. And then there's also like a petting zoo. I don't know. There's goats, or I'm not even sure if those are goats. It's a goat-like animal with like horns, but they're very woolly. I don't know. Mountain goats. Not like a regular goat, like a mountain goat. Do you guys remember that reference? Anyway, Sutton gravitates toward the animals because they calm her, they make her feel better. And like Jesus, they're giving her like little lessons. Like, you're not gonna die. Erica's not going to kill you. Well, I'm glad she learned some lessons from the animals because she missed the entire lesson on how to operate the snowmobile. So I think she's gonna need a little Jesus and, goats. Goats take the wheel. Okay, so Garcelle is on the back of the snowmobile that Cherie is driving. Erica is on one by herself, and Sutton is on one by herself. She didn't even get the lesson. I mean, she does pretty good. She's a little pokey, but she manages to, get the hang of it, I guess. And the instructor's like behind Sutton on a snowmobile, so I imagine, he's there to help if things went really poorly. All right, so did the skiers also have an instructor? I thought all those women know how to ski. They're being introduced to some lady at the slopes, and she's like, okay, is this your whole group? And they said, oh no, we've got 2 stragglers, and it's Dorit and Diana who are kind of lagging behind everybody else. Diana is struggling with the altitude. This is not the first time she has said something about like, it's hard for her to breathe or catch her breath, Oh, and Mauricio is also there with the skiers. They met him at the slopes. So they take 2 gondolas up to the top of the mountain. And in the one gondola, it's Mauricio and Kyle and Dorit. And Dorit says, this reminds me of the gondola we took in Hong Kong. And then we get a flashback. It's 2016, and Dorit and Kyle are in a gondola with Lisa Vanderpump. And it's got like a glass bottom. Those 2 are freaking out. Lisa's laughing. Boy, the housewife trips were a lot better back then, weren't they? Hong Kong. I remember there was a Japan trip and Germany. Yeah. I mean, I know COVID ruined everything, but even still, it just seems like the budget got smaller. You know what? Bravo probably just wised up and thought, they're out to dinner, getting into the same arguments that they would get into in Santa Monica as they are in Sweden. So why bother sending them someplace far? Okay, so they get to the top, and I guess no instructor. I don't know. Maybe that was just the gondola operator. I don't know. So right away, Crystal takes off, then Kyle. They're cruising down, doing great. Then Rinna, she knows how to ski. She's doing great. The Grinch, she's gliding down, graceful. She's got it. And then Dorit, falls right away. And she's like, oh my God, I'm over it already. For all that pep talk in the van, Crystal in the van was like, I know you haven't been skiing in 20 years, but don't worry about it. No pressure, and just relax, take it slow. Even I like to take things slower now that I'm getting older. And yeah. Crystal, first one down. And in her confessional, she's like, this is a good group of skiers, other than Dorit, who hasn't skied in 20 years. So, I just know that I want to beat everybody else. That's all I know. So yeah, her competitive side took over her compassionate side, which would have been waiting for Dorit or helping her along or whatever. Meanwhile, the snowmobiling ladies stop at a place, like there's a picnic table in a little building where they're going to stop and have a hot drink. The guy's like, okay, ladies, do you want a hot cider, hot chocolate, or hot tea? Erica, hot wine. And Garcelle's like, tequila, tequila. And he goes, no, you can't drink alcohol and operate a motor vehicle. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. Back with the skiers, they all ski up to this restaurant where they are having Bloody Marys. Apparently, you can ski and have alcohol. What's the danger there? And there's like, I don't know, chips and guac and salsa and stuff on the table. So they sit down, all of them except Dorit, who is going a little slow, but she does get there all on her own because nobody helped her, or at least no one from this group. And she's actually very proud of herself. And somebody said something about being surprised because Kyle is like always afraid of things. And she said, yeah, well, we used to do this when we were dating, Mauricio and I. And Mauricio just gave me the confidence to be a better skier. Just sweet. And then she has to say, the others aren't having as much fun as we are. Always comparing herself to others. I'm in the cool group. We're having more fun than the other people. I have more possessions than she has. If she has something I don't have, I'm going to get it. You know, for someone who has so much in her life, I'm not just talking material things, a beautiful family, a husband that loves her, and she sure does act like somebody who's unfulfilled. I wonder what that's all about. You know, just, it's never good enough, constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses. I was going to say keep up with the Kardashians. Keeping up with the Kardashians is actually more accurate. But yeah, just always comparing herself and trying to be one of the cool kids all the time. Who hurt you as a child, Kyle? I'm having hot tea today, guys, because I woke up with a sore throat and I'm kind of afraid I'm coming down with something. Also, I feel like my voice isn't quite right, so bear with me. Back with the snowmobile ladies, they are now sitting at the table and they're enjoying their hot drinks. And Erica said, I enjoyed that. And Garcelle goes, yeah, that was really fun, really beautiful. Sutton, not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. Well, yeah, you missed the operating lesson. She goes, I'm staying in the safety zone today. So anyway, Garcelle said, yeah, last night was rough. Sutton, it just got to me. Erica, well, listen, anything can get to anyone, especially in this group. Oh, okay. Is that right? Tell me who in this group being called to see you next Tuesday that wouldn't get to. Sutton's like, Diana was tough. Erica goes, it got to her last night too. And we were all tired. Sutton, I didn't do anything to her last night. Exactly. What got to her? I would love to know. Erica goes, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not like whatever got to her last night. That's all I'm saying. And Garcelle goes, something triggered her is what you're saying. She's like, yeah. You know what triggered her? Nothing. She heard Sutton get upset that Erica called her a see you next Tuesday. And Diana thought to herself, well, she is one. And then she decided to say it out loud. And it got a laugh. And she started laughing. And that's the extent of it. Nothing triggered her. Also, I'm sorry, I'm so tired of making excuses for why she and Rinna act like assholes, when the fact of the matter is, they just are. No external tragedy made them that way. Sutton said, she basically says that I'm never real, that I'm never sincere. And so I really kind of don't care if she likes me or not. And Garcelle said, good, I'm happy to hear that. Erica, she's in a lot of pain, man. Then she really should be on a reality TV show, right? Erica says to Sutton, in your apologies, and don't yell at me. That's right, because she's the bully. Got it. Something is coming off as not authentic in your apologies. And as someone who gets in trouble for getting into fights on Instagram with people that I shouldn't, I've been an asshole. I've done horrible things, but I hope I can at least acknowledge that that's what I've done. And Sutton goes, no defense. And she said, right, no defense. Okay, I mean, I think Sutton took it the right way. Me, I'm thinking, what did Sutton do that was so horrible? But I get what Sutton is saying. She apologizes, but then justifies why she did the thing in the first place. And I understand that, you know, I understand that desire to just explain yourself. I do that all the time. I guess what they're saying is, but you know, what Erica says is, yeah, no defense. Hey, I was struck up in the moment and that was my pure emotion. I get that. I also wonder if it's difficult for Sutton to apologize, just apologize and not defend, because she believes she had a defense for the things that she did. And she's getting nothing from the other side. She got nothing from Rinna. She got nothing from Diana in terms of, yeah, thank you for apologizing for that part. I would like to apologize for my part. No, no. Well, do you remember when Sutton said in front of everybody at Kyle's house after Jamie Lee Curtis left, she said that Diana isn't ready to forgive me. I take like 95% of the blame. I completely disagreed with that. I wasn't even sure that Sutton should take 50% of the blame. I think maybe Sutton's apologies don't seem super sincere because she isn't that sorry. And in my opinion, kind of rightly so. She would like to make peace, but she's getting nothing back from the other side. No taking of responsibility on Diana's part drives me crazy. Anyway, Garcelle said, so Diana's going to be at dinner, I assume. What are you going to do? Sutton, sit as far away from her as possible. And then she goes, I'd rather sit next to Erica. She is sitting next to Erica right now. Erica goes, that's a bold statement. And then this is the part I hate about Sutton. Through clenched teeth, she goes, I really like you. It's the same thing she does with Rinna. Sutton, you have got to explain to me, why do you really like these women who are coming after you? What is there to really like? Because occasionally they're funny. Yeah, they are occasionally funny, but they're also more often attacking you. Anyway, Erica gives a softer cackle. I really like you too. We just need to work it out, babe. Okay, so now it's evening and everyone's getting ready for dinner. At the outsider's house, Sutton is behind the bar fixing a drink for Cherie, I guess. At the hotel, Dorit is shocked at how good Diana looks. Diana comes down or comes in the room and she's like, you look amazing. I'd be like, gee, thanks. Don't act so surprised. And Garcelle and Crystal are chatting about the conversation that they had the other day when Garcelle was on set at The Real about the $750,000 earrings of Erica's. At Kyle's house, I guess Mauricio is going to dinner with the girls, and Erica's like, well, you better get in the shower. Okay. You know, I can't blame him for wanting to go out to dinner with the ladies because, I mean, what's his alternative? Spend another night at the house doing the Ouija board with Teddy, Stormy, and Diana's baby? Again? I mean, things go off the rails when it's the dog and the baby's turn to move the pointer. There's a lot of drool involved on both their parts, and yeah, that thing's just sliding everywhere. Then Erica tells Kyle, as if she doesn't know, so I went snowmobiling with Sutton, Cherie, and Garcelle. And we had a nice time. Kyle looks shocked and, dare I say, disappointed? Slightly. You know, there's no drama in we had a nice time. Side note, I was wondering if Erica would think it was strange that Kyle's doing her makeup right there at the kitchen counter. And then I remembered, oh, her vanity at home is in her little kitchen. So no, that's probably just makes sense to her. So Kyle goes, so do you think there's a window of opportunity there? Erica goes, there's peace. We had a nice time. We communicated, and I'll take that. Yeah, stop trying to push it, Kyle. Then we cut back to Garcelle and Crystal. Garcelle's like, that earring thing with Erica? Like, that story is everywhere. So Crystal, knowing that they talked about it on the reels, said, what did the other ladies say about it? And Garcelle said, well, basically they were like, if you can help the victims, why wouldn't you give the earrings up? Crystal, well, clearly her position is that she's a victim. How is Erica a victim? What was stolen from Erica? I mean, I understand she may have been kept in the dark about what was going on with her husband and her husband's law firm, but that's not the same as the actual victims. Both Garcelle and Crystal say that neither of them would want to keep the earrings. So now in their separate vans, they're heading to the restaurant for dinner. As the people that are staying at Kyle's house kind of file into the restaurant, Erica asks, has this restaurant been here for a while? And Kyle said, oh yeah, it's been here for a long time. Erica goes, okay, I'm going to tell you something. And Rinna's like, oh boy, here we go. And then we never hear the story. If I could ask a question at the reunion this year, it would be, Erica, what was the story you were going to tell about the restaurant? What happened there? Anyway, now the ladies from the hotel arrive and then the outsiders arrive. Everyone's talking about skiing, and Erica's telling them how the snowmobiling day went, how she had a very nice time with the outsiders. Diana credits Aspen for that. It's a great place here. Yeah, that's why she got along with the outsiders. And then Diana said, do you know, I only get anxiety in LA. Great. Too bad that's where your home is. That's like saying, I have fun everywhere in the world except the one place where I live. I mean, honestly, she doesn't have to keep pounding it into us that she's not coming back next year. The one place that gives her anxiety, you think she's going to stay there another year? No. Can go back to London where Asher can wear his cashmere sweater and be perfectly comfortable. When Sutton walks in, she points to Erica and points to her dress because it's very low cut and there's just a sheer panel. So, she's showing a lot of cleavage and Erica's like, I noticed, really good. Rinna goes, I've never seen her with her boobs out. Mine are out all the time. As often as possible. I'm often naked. Erica's just like, good for you, honey. And then Kathy, who's sitting across from Sutton, goes, see, you can do that because you have little girl boobs. Thanks, Kathy. Like Paris and Nikki, if they were big, it would be vulgar. So now everyone is ordering and chatting. Erica and Garcelle are sitting next to each other. And Erica said, I had a lot of fun with you today. And Garcelle goes, well, yeah, me too. It was good. It was very beautiful. People are talking about what designer they're wearing. Kathy mentions that she still has designer clothing in storage at the Waldorf. She's naming designers, and she said McQueen, and Erica goes, listen, I have a python coat by McQueen. I haven't worn it. Like this guy. And she holds up her purse. I bought it 15 years ago. I never use it. Look, it's signed, numbered. The Chiron tells us it's a Bottega Veneta clutch for $1,800. And Garcelle goes, it's gorgeous. Erica, the great thing about moving to a neighborhood is that you find all these things that you had, but you overlooked. She's not wrong about that. And that's when Marie Kondo tells you need to throw it out. If you forgot you had it, I doubt it's sparking joy. In Garcelle's confessional, she said, Erica is so used to living a certain way that she's not even putting together that given the situation with Tom, this is not the time to be talking about all these expensive bags that you own and clothing. This is not a good look. Erica just keeps going on and on. To Diana, she said, I have a Bottega suede Madagascar crocodile bag with a red whip stitch that I could bring out right now. Huh? Right now? At the restaurant? You brought 2 purses to the restaurant? Plus, you think that impresses Diana? Oh, does it have a diamond clasp? No? Then it is dead to me. Then Erica turns to Garcelle and she goes, I need to use these things. So there you go. There you go. So now Garcelle, who, by the way, is wearing some pretty impressive earrings herself, asks Erica, so what does $750,000 earrings look like? Oh, lady, you did not. No, she did. She's very bold. Erica, they're 1.3. Garcelle, each one? And Erica goes, I don't know. Total value. Well, then not each one. Total value means whatever. But I'll show you tomorrow. So she brought those on vacation too? Garcelle is surprised as I am. She goes, do you have them? Erica, of course. Garcelle, do you want to give them away? Now, this catches Erica off guard because she did not realize that Garcelle was sneakily maneuvering her into this conversation. So she's like, if they're deemed not mine, then that's the truth. Garcelle, don't you think you should give them up anyway? Okay, now hear me out because this is going to be a hot take. I don't like Garcelle's approach here. For one thing, she's coming off like we're just friends having a conversation. Look, Erica started by saying, I really had fun with you today. And Garcelle's like, yeah, me too. So in some ways, Erica might think that they're attempting to bond. And Garcelle has no intention of bonding. And so it feels a little sneaky to me, and I don't love that. I also think Erica might be slightly tipsy, and then I feel like you're kind of taking advantage of that too. Also, I guess I have a problem with the word should. When Garcelle said, don't you think you should give them up anyway? I'm actually not sure if she should. Last week I said I wouldn't want them. I would give them up. I would want nothing to do with them. I'd never wear them again. I know I said that, but now I'm looking at it more from like a legal stance in a way, because even though Garcelle doesn't think it's going to look like an admission of guilt, it might. Especially if she is freely giving them up before she has to by law. If she's like, here, take them. I could actually hear people saying, oh, see, they didn't even have to take her to court. She knew all along that they were purchased with stolen money. I think it does make it look like Erica knows something. And also, there are so many legal things coming at her. She's got so many lawsuits against her and stuff that I think I would just do whatever my lawyers told me to do. And I don't think you could find a lawyer on earth that would tell her to give them up before it's proven that she needs to. What she told Garcelle was, yeah, the second it's proven in a court of law that they were purchased with stolen money, I will give them. She's got no problem with that. Then that's what the truth is, she said. You know, no good deed goes unpunished. And I'm just afraid that she could have the best intentions and it's going to make her look really bad. Or worse, it could be used as an admission of guilt in some other case then. It could snowball. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I know so little about the law that I would do whatever my lawyer advised me to do. Now, for the record, I also wouldn't say a single word on camera about designer anything, ever. I would avoid that like the plague. No way. It's crass, and it is a slap in the face to the victims every time the show airs. So, yeah. So anyway, Erica is not getting angry at Garcelle. She just said, well, I mean, if it's proven that I have to give them back, I'll give them back. Garcelle, no, I know, but outside of that, doesn't Erica Jane want to give them up? Erica Jane wants to do what's right under the letter of the law. Garcelle, why do you need a judge? And Erica goes, because it's a legal fight, Garcelle. So this just kind of escalates because Erica keeps trying to get Garcelle to understand she has to do what her lawyer's telling her to do. So she's trying to get Garcelle to understand the legality of it. And Garcelle keeps trying to get Erica to understand the humanity side of it. Isn't that what's in your heart that you want to do? What she should do is try, like, I was thinking about what I would do if I was her. What if she were to start a fund or something along those lines to work towards getting that stolen money back where it belongs? Like, aside from the outcome of the trial, you know, like it would be a side thing that wouldn't make her look so guilty. I don't know. Garcelle says to Erica, it's not saying I'm guilty. It's saying I have a heart. And Erica goes, hold on. Are they stolen? And Garcelle said, I don't know. And Erica goes, well, I would say I'm not guilty. And how dare you say that about me? Cherie, you guys, I don't know how I'm feeling about Cherie. There were a couple of small incidences that bothered me at Rinna's wine party. Cherie laughed when Rinna went off on Sutton. She did put her head down, stifling a smile when Diana called her a see you next Tuesday. And now the conversation between Erica and Garcelle is kind of starting to get the attention of the other ladies at the table. And the camera pans on Rinna and Cherie's right next to her and out of camera shot. And then Cherie goes like, ooh, grab the popcorn. So Erica goes, I am fighting like the devil. Because you know what? And Garcelle finishes her sentence. It's for your life. And she goes, it's for my life. So then Garcelle said, listen, I can't tell you what to do, but do you care if they're stolen? And Erica said, yes. Garcelle, why? Erica, it needs to be justice under the law. And if I am a liar, then they'll be proving that I'm a liar. So now Garcelle tells us in her confessional, I really don't want to give her a heads up about the real now. All right, so now that conversation is done. It didn't get loud or crazy or angry. And the food arrives now. Everyone, it's an Italian restaurant, so there's a lot of pasta dishes. And the camera gives us a little bit of a look at Crystal, so I thought maybe this was going to be an issue, all this food. But that doesn't really like turn into anything. And then Kyle says, Diana, do you want to see my sister's purse? Don't be jealous. So apparently, Kathy, I'm not sure what this is exactly. It looks like a dust bag for a purse that Kathy is using as her purse. It's just like a soft sack with a drawstring, maybe. And Kathy said, well, I have nice purses, but I didn't want to bring them to Aspen. She says Aspen like it's, Six Flags. I didn't want to bring my nice purse here. Meanwhile, Erica brought 2 purses and her $750,000 earrings. They all came to Aspen. Oh, okay. Kyle just said that it was a shopping bag from a store. I mean, at least it wasn't plastic. It's some sort of fabric, at least. And also, Kathy Hilton, I don't know if she has more money than Diana, but she's got more money than anybody else at that table. So I love that Kyle's shaming her. You know what? Just thought of this. I bet Kyle is perplexed by the fact that Kathy doesn't care. She's not a label whore. She doesn't care what you think of her. She doesn't care that she's bringing that. That makes sense to her. Hey, I could throw my stuff in this bag. Who cares? I could wear a skirt and a Costco t-shirt. I'm Kathy Hilton. And I bet Kyle is just so perplexed by that. Okay, so the meal is over, and now all the ladies are going to the outsider's house for, after dinner shenanigans. I can't wait for Rinna and Erica to see that house. After all this is so cute, Kyle. I love it here. I'm so glad I'm staying at your house, Kyle. Yeah, wait till you see the outsider's place. Huh. Okay, well, nobody seemed to care about the house except for Oprah Richards.
This is gorgeous.
Walks in. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. All right, so everyone's changing into PJs and comfy lounge clothes. Well, the outsiders are because they're at their place. But Garcelle loans like a cashmere jumpsuit thing to Rinna. Crystal asks Erica if she wants to borrow something of hers, and Erica's like, no, I'm not getting undressed for anybody. I mean, maybe a man. Yeah, no, she's going to stay in her 1940s French hooker clothes. God. I can't believe pantyhose are making a comeback, guys. Yuck. All right, so Rinna has gummies, I think, because she's offering something in a small little tin to Cherie, and she's like, just take a half of one. That's what we did. So apparently there was some pre-gaming going on at Kyle's. I'm not sure what it is. Is it a gummy? Is it a brownie? Whatever it is, Cherie thinks it's delicious because she makes this face. Rinna just thinks that everyone needs to mellow. Maybe this will get people to start dancing. I love to dance. You might not know that about me. We've seen your Instagram. And Kathy gets everyone's attention while she holds up a bottle of tequila. She's like, ladies, I think every other tequila is disgusting, but this one I like. Jeez, is it did we wander into a sales meeting or something? Is she going to offer a timeshare? What is happening? Oh, okay. So her daughter, Nikki, and I guess maybe her son-in-law, and she are investors in this tequila company. And if you guys are wondering whether or not Kyle also had an edible, wonder no more. Because now she is making some weird sound. Like she's interrupting Kathy with this sort of gargling sound. And then she thinks that's super funny and starts laughing. Cherie also laughs. I mean, I'll let it slide this time because I think Cherie is high, but, she's been doing that a lot, even when she wasn't doing drugs with the cool kids. We get a side-by-side of Kathy pitching this Casa del Sol tequila. I guess a month ago, she was kind of given the same pitch. It's been aged for 90 days in barrels in France. France? Is France known for their tequila? Anyway, Kathy's like, I just thought we could all do a bottoms up. Okay, this is annoying me, not only because Kathy looks a little embarrassed that nobody's really paying attention. Sutton, I guess Sutton doesn't like tequila, whatever. But Erica's like, no. And then she goes, last time I did tequila, I cussed out Garcelle's son, so I don't think it's a good thing for me. And nobody else, Kyle's being rude. Listen, I get it. Somebody's pitching their stuff and they're tired of that. But I seem to remember a captive audience at Rinna's house for her stupid wine. And everyone was like, oh, this is delicious. This one's great. And they're sampling all the wines. You can't just do a shot with Kathy. Whatever. It was rude. And Kyle's the ringleader of that. And that's her own sister. Mean girls. Over at the bar, Garcelle is telling Dorit and Crystal and Diana about her conversation with Erica. Garcelle said, I told her that if it was up to me, I would have given the earrings away if it was going to help somebody in pain. Dorit, she didn't want to return them? And Garcelle said she wanted to go through the legal process. Yeah. I know I sound like I'm defending her. I'm just defending this one part of it. Because if I'm being 100% honest, I think I would do the same thing. I think I would just listen to my lawyer. That's what I'm saying. There's so many things to hate Erica for, and some coming up in just a minute or two here. But that one makes a little sense to me. So then in Diana's confessional, she said, everybody act like Erica is the only one who can help the victims. If you are so passionate about it, put your money where your mouth is. Take out your earrings and donate. Or, just donate. I don't think the burn victim wants your earrings. He just wants to be able to get the surgeries he needs. Garcelle was telling them Erica was very forthright. She'll come over here and tell you everything. So then she goes, Erica, come over here. And Erica's like, why? What are you guys talking about? Diana goes, to tell you what a bitch you are to your face. So she goes over there, and on the couch, Kyle says to Sutton, go over there, you're a lawyer. And Sutton's like, Kyle, I didn't take my LSAT yet. They're giggling, and they're high. What do you expect? I don't know if Sutton is, but Rinna, Kyle, and Sheree are. So Garcelle says to Erica, I didn't want to be talking behind your back. Erica, okay, go ahead. Garcelle, I told them how open you were and that you want to go through the legal system. And Erica goes, well, I have to. I'm not going to do anything that isn't required of me by the law. Okay, I wouldn't have said it that way. It makes it sound like you don't want to do anything until you're forced to do it. That might be it right there. If she could change the narrative to, yeah, I would like to give them back all the money they deserve, but I have to do this through the steps my lawyer is telling me to do. The way she said it makes it sound like she doesn't want to give them up unless she has to. Crystal goes, is there something you might want to do outside of the law? Erica, absolutely not. Okay, time out. I don't know why I'm defending her so much, but could you imagine if Erica answered yes to that question that Crystal asked? Is there something you might want to do outside of the law? If she were to have said yes on TV, it would have been so twisted. I can see the Daily Mail headline now. Erica Jane admits, I want to do things outside of the law. Erica just says, until the judge decides, that's it. Crystal, but don't you think there's a story that might be right versus the law? Erica, no, the law is precedent. Yeah, again, I'm not a fan of how selfish and tone deaf Erica has been this whole time, but I agree with this part. You can say 1,000 times it's not going to look like an admission of guilt, but people will still believe because they already believe that she's selfish, because she is. People will believe if she gave up those earrings, I guarantee more people than not will believe she did it because she knows they were bought with stolen money. That's what the narrative is going to be. Not that the narrative is great now. Now the headline says she refuses to give them up. And the headline also made it sound like it was proven that they were purchased with settlement money from these people. But that's why I was saying, if she could start a fund or somehow raise the money or earn the money to pay the victims what they're owed, separate from I'm going to give them these $750,000 earrings. Let me put it this way. Let's say Tom's father bought those $750,000 diamond earrings for Tom's mother. And when she died, they were passed down to Tom, who gave them to Erica. Would you think that Erica should sell those earrings and give the money to the orphans and widows? I mean, no, not specifically those earrings. You might think she should start selling off a lot of designer things and give the money back. But you wouldn't be like harping on those earrings in particular, because you would know that they weren't purchased with stolen money. You would know that for a fact because they were handed down through generations. So it's only because in our own bias, Garcelle, Crystal, me, and probably a lot of you guys, because inside our brains, we think that they were bought with stolen money. I do anyway. I'll just speak for myself. And it's for that reason that I would want her to give them away. It's for that reason that if I were her, I could never wear them again. All of that. It's because we really believe that they were purchased with stolen money. But what I'm saying now is I think she has to be careful with her generosity so that it doesn't look like guilt. I just think she has to be careful. If it were me, I would have gone through the process of selling things that I own until all the money was paid back. That's just what I would do. So both Garcelle and Crystal say that they would give up the earrings. And Garcelle said, because I would feel compassion for the victims. And that's the point too, right? Erica's lack of compassion. If that conversation went differently, if Erica answered with tears in her eyes and said, it's horrible what happened to the victims, but I can't. My hands are tied right now because anything I do can look like I'm guilty. So my lawyer is telling me I cannot do it until it's proven, and then I can give them up. But honestly, I really want to find another way to earn the money to make the victims whole, right? If she acted like that, it would have gone down a whole lot differently. But instead, she started showing off her designer this and that and talking about her McQueen coat that she never wore. And yeah, it's a bad look. So Erica goes, why don't you think I have compassion? For all the things I just said. Or the fact that you never said you felt badly for the victims. And how about this? How about the fact that early in the season, in Palm Springs, you threw out the possibility that the victims were liars? Maybe that's why. What Garcelle says is, because I think you don't want your compassion to look like you're guilty. Yeah. Erica, I'm not guilty. That's why I fight as hard as I do. Crystal goes, it's about trying to make people whole. That's it. Well, then you all could kick in a little money to make the victims whole. Why not? Like Diana said, kick in a little of that mink-off three-way money. Just kidding. Rob doesn't get paid for that. Well, I mean, just a small stipend, basically just to cover registration fees and scheduling, securing all the proper permits, all that. But participation, that he does just out of his love of mankind in general. Side note, I have to say that on Instagram, I believe Diana has set up a fund for the victims of the Lion Air crash and donated $100,000 of her own. So, I mean, say what you will about Diana, and I will, but at least she did that. She also was the only person that gave $25,000 to My Hand in Yours, Jamie Lee Curtis's. And Kyle, is Kyle part of that charity too? Maybe. To their charity. So, I mean, yes, it's probably a drop in the bucket for her, but she could have not done it too. Okay, well, finally, after holding it together for an impressive length of time, Erica finally gets really mad. And this is where I think her true rotten core reveals itself. She says to Crystal, there's a place to make people whole, and that's in a court of law, not in the court of public opinion. And Crystal goes, we're not talking about public opinion. Erica, yes, you are. We get the obligatory reactions from the peanut gallery, shock and awe. In Crystal's confessional, she said, whether your husband is convicted of these crimes or not, why can't you show empathy? Because I don't think it's in her DNA. Erica, the law matters. If you don't understand that, you're an amateur and you can get the fuck out. There we go. There she is. Erica is saying that she's been accused and now it's her time to tell her side of the story, basically. She's like, you believe just because somebody said so? You're just gonna believe it? And Crystal goes, nobody's telling me what to believe. Nobody's telling me anything. I just care about the victims. Let's get real, Erica. Let's get real. You're not caring about the facts. What facts do you have? Crystal's like, that there's dead people that money was stolen from? I get what she's saying, but not exactly. She makes it sound like these people were killed and then robbed. Families were awarded settlement money due to negligence of the airline that killed their family member. Anyway, Erica's like, that's not facts. Back them up. Cite it. I don't think anybody has ever said cite it more threateningly. Erica, people died. That is terrible. We need to figure out what did or did not happen to their settlement money. That is a different fight. Oh my God, a robot could speak with more compassion in their voice. And then she says this, I'm not saying I don't feel for the potential victims. Potential. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised because she floated this idea when they were in Palm Springs, that maybe they weren't really victims at all. But right there, that sentence right there, you can argue that Tom may or may not have been responsible for stealing their money. You can argue that you didn't know anything about it, but please don't argue as to whether or not the money was actually stolen. It was. And also, I'm sorry, you actually can't argue that Tom isn't the one responsible for stealing the settlement money. I watched The Housewife and the Hustler. Yeah, there's some damning proof in that documentary. Tom did steal their money. He did. I don't know if you knew anything about it, Erica. You might not have. But there's a couple things that I feel pretty sure I know. One is that Tom used settlement money that he got for these people. He was their lawyer. His law firm is the one that won them that settlement money. He had the settlement checks come to him, and then he's the one that kept pushing these people off when they would ask for their money. It was his voice. Oh, don't be mad at me. I'm sorry, it's gonna take a little longer than I thought. And it's because he was doing for a long time, I think, that robbing Peter to pay Paul. He would take settlement money from his most recent win, and he would eventually pay off the people from the settlement before that. And he was kind of doing that sort of thing until it got too much. He took too much. He couldn't pay it back. And then that's when this whole thing blew up. Not only do I feel pretty confident that Tom Girardi knew he was stealing their money, but I also 100% believe that all of these people, all of these victims, and it wasn't just from the Lion Air crash. It was the guy when the gas company, his house blew up, his girlfriend died. He's got burns over most of his body. It was his story. There were other victims as well that came on this documentary that never received their settlement money. So I 100% believe that those people never got their money. You can't convince me otherwise. So Erica insisting on saying potential victim, I don't know if that's something her lawyer told her to do. If my lawyer told me, don't even acknowledge that these people really lost their money, I just wouldn't say anything at all. I guess. I don't know. That one would be hard. So of course, Garcelle picks up on the fact that she said potential. And Erica said, yeah, because who knows if they're true or not? Well, that got a very shocked reaction out of Kyle. And she even said to Rinna, oh, she can't say that. That's not right that she said that. In Kyle's confessional, she said, I can't believe Erica said that. If it were me, I would make a statement about how I do care about the victims and to please be patient with the process, or something to that effect. Crystal says to Erica, all I think about are the victims. I need a drink of my tea. Erica says, I don't give a f*** about anybody but me. So sweet, so compassionate. Well, there you go. There's nothing to even say about that. That says it all. Kyle is now getting enraged, actually. And she comes over by the bar and she said, it's not about just the law. There's people, victims involved. Erica, the question is, were they defrauded by Girardi Keys? Not by Erica Girardi, but by Girardi Keys. I don't work there. I'm not a licensed lawyer. I don't control that. Garcelle, you don't believe there are victims? Erica, that's to be litigated and found out. Kyle, nobody's saying you were involved, but I thought it was a given that the money was taken from Girardi Keys. I mean, she's not wrong. And you know Kyle saw Housewife and the Hustler, right? Erica, no, it's not. It's still in litigation. Kyle, okay, but in the meantime, let's have a little sensitivity to the victims. Erica, you can't make this stuff up, people. The only person you should be concerned about is me. The girl who helped you rip down the Christmas lights yesterday. Remember that? Wow. Kyle said, look, I know you're in defense mode right now, but this can't just be about you. Dorit, I forgot Dorit was even there. Honey, take a deep breath. Erica, no, I'm not going to take a deep breath. Side note, wondering where Rinna falls on this. Lisa, awfully quiet over there. Diana, how about you? Erica says, why am I catching the sins of somebody I divorced? I thought you couldn't get the divorce yet. Aren't you still legally married? In Dorit's confessional, she said, Erica is too reactive and things are coming out sideways. Yeah, you would like to think that it's because she's overreactive that things are coming out sideways. No, I disagree. I think things are coming out right the way she wants them to, because this is who she is. This right here. The controlled person who, parses out each word she says very carefully. That's not the real Erica. This is the real Erica. The one who says, I only care about me. And you should only care about me. Side note, Dorit's dress in this confessional reminds me that yesterday Queen Elizabeth II passed away. She was queen for 70 years. For most of us, our entire lives. And now it's going to be King Charles. That seems so crazy to me. I'm curious to hear from those of you who live in the UK. I know that Americans kind of glorify the royals and stuff like that, but I'm curious what she meant to you or what this means to you guys. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So Garcelle says to Erica, you have a pair of $750,000 earrings. If you were to give it to them, and Erica cuts her off, what's going to happen? I've been nothing but upfront and honest. Dorit, honey, the headlines are saying that you refused to return them. Erica says, I offered, they were cataloged. Do you think I can get away with some Dorit, I don't think you want to get away with some. I don't. And you can't. Kyle goes, I don't think you knew where the money came from that Tom used to buy them for you. Erica, 15 years ago. Kyle goes, but you're not acknowledging the victims. That was my problem. Erica, they're not my victims. Kyle, people f***ing died. Kathy, Kyle, stop cursing. Yeah, because that's the problem with this whole conversation. Side note, I love that Sutton is staying so far out of this that you don't even know she's there. She is across the room on the couch, on her phone. I also love that Kathy has her little sack purse on her lap. It's cute. Don't want to get that stolen. So Kyle goes, Kathy, stop. Kyle doesn't like being treated like a little sister. Yet she can gargle and make a weird sound when Kathy's trying to talk about something that matters to her. Anyway, she's like, Erica, people died and their families were left in the aftermath and you're not showing any compassion. I want you guys to think about this for a second. Erica says, why would I show compassion for the people that dogged me? Now she gets cut off by Kyle, who's like, don't say that, Erica. But why should I feel compassion for the people that dogged me? Now let's go back to about 30 minutes ago when she asked Garcelle, why do you think I'm not compassionate? So now I feel like she's admitting that no, I'm not compassionate to them because they've been coming after me. Here's my question. How did your lawyers allow you to be on a reality TV show? Anyway, Kyle's like, don't say that, Erica, because you're my friend and I can't defend that. Really? Finally, something that you ogres can't defend? So she's like, I can't defend that. You saying, I don't have compassion. They're not my victims. Erica, they're not. Kyle is basically begging Erica to care. She's begging her to care. She's like, put you aside for a second. Erica, why are you so hung up on this? And Kyle goes, I'm trying to help you be Erica, the victim. Erica, I am not a victim. Well, that we can agree on. Kyle's like, okay, what do you want to call yourself? Erica, honey, I am a wife that has been left in the ruins. I mean, it is a shit house, but you do have a beautiful pond in the back. You could go fishing whenever you want. You could probably lay in bed, open the sliding door, toss a line out there, catch yourself some dinner. And oh, here comes Rinna. Rinna whispers to Dorit, we need to get her out now. Oh, sweetie, it's already too late. Barn door's been open for about 45 minutes. No sense in closing it now. Anyway, Rinna calls it, we're going back to Kyle's. It's enough for one night. Erica's going, but she's complaining the whole way out. I'm not caving just because some people think I should feel a certain way. They think you should care about people dying tragically, and then your husband stole the money of the families. How dare people think you should care about that? They all walk out, Dorit and Diana too. They're heading to the hotel, and the outsiders are just all sitting on the couch watching them go. I kind of like how everyone is posed here. It looks like they're posing for a group picture. I don't know, looks like an album cover or something. I should say that all of the outsiders and Kathy are sitting on that couch. Yeah, Kathy apparently not leaving to go back to Kyle's. She may have forgotten she was staying at Kyle's, or maybe she just realized this place is beautiful and there's not a bunk bed to be had. I don't know. Anyway, Rinna's like, Erica, let's go. Erica's still going off. She's out in the driveway. Why? I could stay here all night and fight with these bitches. What about the facts, you dumb fucks? What about the facts? Then Sutton said, I was really looking forward to playing shuffleboard tonight. Garcelle's like, not happening, girl. Not happening. And that is where the episode ends. Oh, geez. And next week, previews for next week also look pretty explosive. These are horrible people. You're not going to get an argument with me there, but season 12 is killing it. Killing it. Who knew? Say what you want, but it is not boring. Also, who would have thought after episode 1 and 2 that this whole season wouldn't be about Sutton being a wackadoo? Was it episode 2 that Sutton was like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't have a gun to my head. And I thought, oh my God, we're going to be hearing about that all season long. No, I almost forgot it happened. I have one quick book review just because I finished it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even add that to the end of this video because I think it's going to be a really long one. But I just read a book called The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. It's a Reese Witherspoon book club book, and it is also being made into a movie or a miniseries, I'm not sure, starring, I think it was supposed to be Julia Roberts, but she had to drop out. So it's Jennifer Garner. This is a story of a woman who she marries a guy who is a widower, and he has a teenage daughter who hates her. She's trying to make it work with the daughter. And then one day, the husband, father, disappears. She gets a very cryptic message from him. She doesn't know if something happened to him. Something happened where he works, but he has disappeared. And the whole story is about like finding him or you just like kind of getting some answers. And it's a super fast, easy read, very entertaining. There's a little bit of a twist in there. I love twisty, turny things where I can't figure them out. But this was such a incredible story. Really centers around this woman and the teenage daughter. It centers around both of them, their relationship to the man, the woman's husband, the for the girl, her relationship with her father, and their relationship with each other. It's super interesting, a little, suspenseful at times, and yeah, really good. So again, it was called The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. All right, that's it for me, you guys. If you have a question you want me to read next week, leave it in the comments below. As always, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Please give this particular video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I am an Amazon affiliate. If you are an Amazon shopper, if you click on any one of the links, you can then purchase anything you want from Amazon. And as long as it's in your cart within 24 hours, I will get a small credit for any qualifying items that you purchased. Okay, thank you guys so much. I love you, and I will see you next week. Bye.